Have you ever wondered why Africa, a continent so rich in natural resources, remains one of the poorest regions on the globe? Today we delve into a historical journey, tracing the roots and progression of Africa's exploitation by the West. We begin our journey in the late 15th century, when the Portuguese initiated the transatlantic slave trade, an atrocity that lasted for over 4 centuries. Millions of Africans were ripped from their homelands, their freedom stolen, and their lives reduced to a mere commodity. Fast forward to the late 19th century, when Africa became a playground for European powers during the scramble for Africa. Colonial powers like Britain, France, and Germany partitioned Africa without any regard for the indigenous ethnic or political divisions. They exploited the continent's vast resources, from gold and diamonds to rubber and ivory, leaving a legacy of economic and political instability. Moving on to the mid-20th century, we find a time when many African nations began to gain independence. However, this newfound freedom was marred by neo-colonialism. Western powers continued their economic exploitation through unfair trade practices, debt, and aid traps. In recent years, the exploitation has taken on a new form. Today, multinational corporations from the West exploit Africa's resources, often with little regard for the social and environmental consequences. For instance, the extraction of precious minerals necessary for our electronic devices often leaves behind a trail of environmental destruction and human rights abuses. Moreover, the West's impact on climate change disproportionately affects Africa. The continent is experiencing some of the most severe effects of global warming, despite contributing the least to its cause. Droughts, floods, and other extreme weather events fueled by climate change are escalating food insecurity and displacement across the continent. In the face of all these challenges, it's important to remember that Africa is not merely a victim. The continent is rich in culture, innovation, and resilience. African nations and individuals are fighting back, advocating for fair trade, sustainable development, and climate justice. In conclusion, the exploitation of Africa by the West is a complex and multifaceted issue that spans centuries. From the transatlantic slave trade to colonialism, neo-colonialism, and today's corporate exploitation and climate injustices, the West has consistently profited from Africa's resources and people. However, the narrative is changing, and the fight for a more equitable world continues. Thank you for joining us on this historical journey. We hope it has shed some light on the complexities of Africa's past and present, and provoked thought on the actions needed to build a more equitable future.